Hello, all. I wanted to discuss with you all the difference between educational psychologist and school psychologist. Now, I know a lot of you may be saying, well, isn't it the exact same thing? Well, sometimes the terms are used interchangeably, but they are two different careers. Someone who refers to themselves as primarily an educational psychologist is typically a person who has studied educational psychology and school psychology, but they are primarily a researcher. They are a person that really likes to work in academia. They do research, they write grants, they teach at the college or university level, and that's their primary work. They don't necessarily do a lot of the assessments, and they don't do as much of the counseling and things like that, but their primary focus is the research. And so educational psychology programs, you have to be careful, because if you want to be a practitioner, if you want to be someone who is counseling, who's providing assessment, who's actually working in the schools with students, then you're going to want to get into a program that's a school psychology program, or an educational psychology program with a specialization in school psychology. But now, a standalone educational psychology program is likely to not have the curriculum and course instruction that you're going to need to get licensed as a specialist in school psychology, also known as a school psychologist. It's very important that you look at that. Now, as I was applying to programs, I actually applied to an educational psychology program thinking, oh, hey, this is a very interesting program. However, it did not have the curriculum that I needed to get licensed. So you have to make sure that you are in a school psychology program or an educational psychology with the specialization in school psychology. Now, a school psychologist is the person that goes out into the field. They work with the students, they're providing assessment, they're counseling, whether it's individual counseling, whether it's in groups, they're collaborating with the family members, the administration, the school pathologists, the educational diagnosticians, all of that stuff. School psychologists, they also may do some research and things, but that is not their primary job. That is not their primary career goal, to do research. Also, they do not do as much of like the grant writing and things like that. Now, they also might teach at the college and university levels like educational diagnostician. I'm sorry, educational psychologists do, but some school psychologists don't want to do that. And also, educational psychology programs are typically a lot of them are doctorate programs anyway, because in order to really be an educational psychologist that's really doing the sort of research that you're going to want to do, I mean, you really need a doctorate for it, because that's where people actually take you seriously. It's the names again are sort of interchangeable. However, the roles of an educational psychologist and a school psychologist are quite different. So if you are more interested in doing research as your career goal and putting programs together and grant writing and getting published and things like that in journals, then you would want to be an educational psychologist. If you are primarily wanting to work with children, if you're wanting to go and do assessments and counsel and do those sorts of things, then you'll be a school psychologist. Now, the pay is pretty much around the same. I mean, if you're going to be working in a college or university, I mean, you're likely to get paid quite well. If you're doing research, I mean, there's so many opportunities for you to get grants and then pay yourself out of those grants, and then you can work for an agency that's doing research, and you can work in academia as a salaried assistant or an associate professor and things like that. Again, I've done many videos on the pay of school psychologists, so you guys can check those out. If you guys have any questions regarding the differences between these two fields or these two titles, then please let me know. You guys have a great night.